All right, people, let's settle a little bit. Get your coffee, whatever you need to do. We'll try to give you another break a little bit so you can get a nice cup of coffee, whatever it is. How are we doing so far? Good? Bad? Good. Some people are tired, some people are... During the intermission, during the break, actually, I had a chance to talk to some of you people. Some of you had little personal questions to ask. Some of the questions were asked about this not said stuff. I'll go a little bit more detail for that, how many tests there are, whether or not you feel comfortable after you're taking this course to be able to take the test and pass the question. The answer is yes. The answer is yes, you should be able to pass it without any problem. The entry level as well as an installation level thing. Some of the people asked whether or not whatever I stated before regarding the solar installation thing is true. Yes, you only have to be an electrical contractor in the state of New Jersey, a license, that is, to be able to install any specific certification. It's not required by the state of New Jersey. I don't know if any utility requires you to do so, but the state of New Jersey sets up the law. Yes, sir?
Do you know anything about that legislation that was voted on today pertaining to the prevailing wage rate that would have to be paid for installation of solar panels? It was voted on today in the legislature. It was voted on today, and I'm curious if anybody's familiar with it, one, or knows the status of that vote.
I don't know it myself. You can look at it, but I'm familiar with that type of legislation as far as, you know, the installation of solar panels and done on prevailing wage, which at some point in time, the only thing it's going to do, it's going to hurt actually some of you guys.
Well, consider it done.
Some of you guys, because what happens is the installation for them, it's going to be prevailing wage. Let me tell you something. Just as a sidekick to that, the fault falls into us, because as electrical contractors, you have to be responsive and you have to pay attention to what's going on in the industries, particularly the industries that are evolving that affect you. I know a lot of you got mad when the utility companies started installing, you know, lights, parking lots, and so forth. You got to do something about it, but it depends. It's up to you. Now, with regards now to this prevailing wage for installing solar panels, what have you done about it?
Tomorrow is the governor's last day in office.
The last time you knew,
and it's my understanding that will be the final bill that he signs on his way out.
Of course. Yeah.
the last thing I knew that it was just on the, it was going to the Senate, but I didn't know whether or not, and there were a lot of organizations that they were actually fighting and trying to protect that from going into, but now you're telling me it's already, it's a done deal.
No, I didn't say that. I'm curious whether or not it has flown.
Okay. You know what that means, guys? That means that if you have to install a solar panel, you have to pay a highest labor rate, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So if you were a small guy who wanted to go into this kind of business and your cost, labor cost was a problem for you, then you had to sort of finagle some sort of a, business marketing approaches to be able to do so. Whereas before you could have done it at a lower cost, depending on the type of business. Obviously, there's only guys. Listen, guys, I understand it's getting tired. I understand, but it's very difficult for me to talk while we're having another conversation. If you need to do so, that is my biggest thing. Okay? If every one of us talk among each other, then we have a problem. I know. If there's an issue, let's talk about it and discuss it. Everybody can take a turn. I don't have no problem. Okay? Anyway, so that's exactly what it means. So there's a bill up there that actually defines the prevailing wage. Some organizations have put into it. You guys should get involved with with your business and belonging to different organizations, electrical contracting organizations and so forth, which you can find out what's going on in the industry with regard to what? The marketing approaches, the managing approaches, and the actually installation things. Before you know, some people are gonna get the niche out of it, and then you're gonna be left behind. And then some of us, we're still gonna be pulling Romex and installing hi-hats. And doing services. And sometimes, like I always used to say, when you're 25, you can do 2 services a day. When you're 55, you can barely do 1. So it's okay. So that's what happened. All right, anything else? Why are you laughing? You guys are laughing. That's all right, you can laugh. So I understand a lot of the stuff we talked about here, maybe it's not pertaining to you guys, but we're also talking with the guys in the back up there. Explaining some of that, the environmental things, explain some of those alternate systems that we have. It's a good business point when you try to explain to the customer. Because from my experience, I have found out when you go and you talk to a customer installing a solar system or a geothermal system, a lot of the customers, because I've done a greenhouse week up there where I had students like you and listening to me, and a lot of the times, although I thought that it was an expensive thing, people got excited because it was what? It was helping the environment. They never spend a lot of time saying, well, it's going to be expensive, but the thing is that it's going to do what? Hopefully I'm going to get off the grid, which probably is not going to happen, okay? But, depending on the size of house that you have. But at the same time, it was giving them some food for thought that they thought they were helping the environment. And that is one of the best selling points that a lot of people are using it. A lot of you marketeers in here to be able to sell a system like that. So that's why we're showing all this stuff. And that's why there's a big hype. There's a big hype into this renewable. A lot of you guys, a lot of you guys even painted your trucks, I said green. I see some of you advertising clean energy up there. Yes or no? For a particular reason. So now, when we talk about, there was another question up here, some gentleman mentioned about the new types of modules that are coming up here, and the different little guys in their backyard or their garages inventing these modules that they can capture all kinds of rays and ultraviolet things and so forth. Yes, there's a lot of development done. There's a lot of development done. There are actually shingle modules. They are integrated, building integrated types of systems. You look at it, you don't even know you have solar panels up there. I mean, there are people actually to the point in the present time that they're working, guess what? Maybe you stick a mirror on the side of your house. They actually, people who are looking into what? Photovoltaic systems that actually is going to be what? Paint. You paint your house from the outside, and now you're capturing the rays. You're sticking to electrodes somehow. I don't know how is it done, but it should be done somehow. And then be able to what? To collect energy. There's a lot of research is done. Now, whether or not it's, Star Wars technology or it's not, that's to be seen, okay? But again, we're still at a point of, you take up a module now, you say it's about 10-50% efficient. There are actually techniques that you can make it much more efficient, okay? But it's costing, and you have different technologies as we go through it to define what they are and the cost associated with that. Remember, whenever you sell something, what do? You make it what? Cost effective for the customer. If it's not cost effective, people are not going to buy it. So you have to be what? A good marketeer in the beginning in order to be able to do what? To sell a system. Unless you're the guy who just cares about what? 1/4-inch screwdriver, 9-inch line and pliers, grounding, bonding, and running conductors and what? And conduits. That's a different thing. There's a lot of, the photovoltaic industry is very different. It's different for the people who what? Manufacture the modules, the people who sell it, the people who maintain it, the people who install it, the people who do research on it, the people who upgrade it. Couple of questions that are going to come pretty simple. You install a solar panel today, okay? What's the life expectancy of a solar panel? 20 years, 25 years. That's what we said, right? 20, 25 years. Maybe so. Supposedly now, all of a sudden, you have a particular module up here. Install 10 years later, you want to replace that module, but it's no longer available. How do you handle that kind of situation? Those are some of the things you have to think about. Are all modules the same? Are all modules the same? You install them in a particular in a particular, for a particular installation, different locations in the building? Do they all last the same thing? What's the life expectancy be one to the other? You have a